Welcome, travelers, to the Rule of Cool podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast that's occasionally appropriate and frequently distracted. In the last episode, our adventurers bonded over drinks while others were left recovering from the dead status effect. The next morning, after heading downstairs, the group has a heartwarming reunion with the Kangaroo family. With renewed purpose in life, Chadwick and the gang meet up with Udigal to head to Mercer. Without any further ado, I now present the Rule of Cool.
Hey y'all, this is the Rule of Cool, an occasionally inappropriate, frequently distracted D&D 5e actual play podcast. I am Sarah, your mundane DM. Tonight, the boys are going to introduce themselves by saying subs or dubs.
Hi, my name is Jay. Sorry, I'm passionate about this one.
I know. It's
Hi.
also a callback to an older episode.
Yes, we talked about this the other day.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Jason. I play Vaan, the half-elf wild mage sorcerer, and the correct answer to this is dubs.
I'll fucking cut you.
I know.
I know.
If I wanted to read something, I would just read it. But for real, it's nice to have the dubs so that I can, actually go do something else, and during a fight, watch, and then when they're just talking, do anything else. But
So you're just a millennial with a poor attention span, and therefore prefer quantity over quality.
I'm not going to get anything better out of a Japanese guy screaming than I will for an American screaming.
Okay.
You could get their lips matching up to the words they're saying.
I just heard a police siren.
Yeah, that's me.
But Jason, you're wrong. No. False. This is not
Fight
GIF
me.
or GIF. There is a right answer.
I know, GIF and
I mean,
dubs.
there's also a right answer to that one, as the man who made them has come out on that topic. But
Well, he's an idiot.
So we need to find the guy who made dubs and see what his stance is on this.
Hey, guess what just popped up on my screen? Restart now.
Are you kidding me, Alex?
Hey, Alex, can you record your piece first, and then we'll get the rest of them while you restart?
Yeah.
Is there not a delay for 4 hours?
There's a new one, and it says restart within the 2-hour deadline.
Okay.
Oh, you're not on a work laptop, but if you were, I know what you're talking about.
I am on
Okay.
the work laptop.
Been perfect.
I mean,
Okay,
I'm
Alex,
not.
Please just tell us
Just
who you
for the
are,
video,
who you
okay.
play, and restart your computer.
So if you couldn't obviously tell already, my name's Alex. I play Rhys, the Lizardfolk Barbarian, and it is subtitles, for sure. Jason is a horrible person, and I will hate him forever.
I will take my dub titles over your subtitles any day.
Okay, here's the thing, though. If you go with dub, you lose a lot of content in prude US editing. Like, Sailor, Uranus, and Neptune being cousins instead of lovers, and there being multiple gay characters in Sailor Moon that all just become women because we can't have gay characters in Sailor Moon. You know, that's what you get with the dub.
That's not the dub's fault, though. That's what is the word?
Alex, please restart your computer.
Okay, I still had more things to chime in, but I'll restart my computer.
No,
I would yell
chime in.
about this for hours. So
Okay, just restart your computer, please.
Will do.
We don't have hours.
I might be back.
Cool. I guess if you two want to get your...
I think this
Yeah, I
is the
can
first question where it is in order of people who are the most passionate about it, the least passionate.
Jordan, are you passionate about this or not?
Kind of, actually.
I'm just waiting for Jordan to come out like, Ome wa mo shinderu.
Hey guys, it's Jordan and I play the High Elf Rogue, Sexy Paelias. And if I were to choose between subs or dubs, I'm gonna have to go with dubs because reading is hard.
My boy.
You know what? As your DM, I'm flipping my one-sided coin and you're wrong.
Alright. Hi everyone, this is Adam. I play Chadwick, the Cleric of Light. On this topic, I don't have a super, I don't super care about it. However, I do think it depends upon the medium in which I personally first saw this. If it was like Pokemon, I could never imagine watching that subbed ever. It has to be dubbed. Kind of the same thing with Dragon Ball Z. It could never be subtitled because I've only ever seen it dubbed and it would just be freaking weird. However, if somebody were to introduce me to something, and they have in the past and had me watch it, I would probably prefer to watch it subtitled.
Oh, listen to Mr. Reasonable, middle of the road. It depends on context person over here.
I cannot think of a single thing that I have seen that was subtitled in Japanese. I'm trying to think. Actually, no, I remember watching Gantz, and that was weird. Like, I can only find it in with subtitles. Like, it was okay, but I didn't get anything interesting out of hearing it in the original Japanese that I couldn't get out of it being in English.
The last season of Sailor Moon was never released in the US, so there is no dub. There's only sub.
I would love to find like communities that like poorly do dubs. Yes. I think that would be great.
Or
actually, one of my favorite things is like Team 4-Star and them going over and doing parodies and recaps of Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh and all those other channels.
I did go through a phase where when I was fluent in Spanish and I wanted to keep up practicing, I would watch subbed in Spanish because there's not a lot of dub for Spanish, or there wasn't back then because that was like 10 years ago.
So hang on, you're talking about Japanese audio,
with Spanish
subtitles,
so that I could keep up my Spanish proficiency.
Now you're watching things that you're familiar with, though, right?
No, this would be like the first time I ever watched Bleach.
Okay.
I was fluent. I was native fluent in Spanish for a couple of years, and then I like cold turkey stopped practicing. Hey, Alex.
Oh, we're back. By the way, I recorded my tirade about subs and dubs to myself.
Yes.
Yeah, he rejoins the call, and that is why I prefer subs over dubs.
Hold on, I feel like it's important for Alex to know where we stood. Jordan is dubs, and I'm middle of the road. It depends on context.
I will kill you all.
No, Adams was very reasonable. Adams was like, the stuff that he grew up, like Pokemon and everything, it's hard to do subs. But, like, he sees the benefit of subs and...
Yeah, like, if anybody were to come to me with, like, a new anime and be like, hey, watch this, I would be like, is there a sub?
Oh, actually, to be fair, I don't care about subs in anime so much, because that stuff is recorded later anyway. You're not missing out on an actor's performance or anything.
Yeah.
Live action movies, if you watch dub, I'll kill you.
I prefer the Dragon Ball Z live action movie.
That movie sucked.
Jason,
it's not a movie.
I didn't even know there was one.
So it is not that long of a walk up to the house because, again, this is a city dwelling. So you get to the front door very quickly. The door opens upon your entering, and you see your family's trusted butler. His name is Deckel. Chad, you know his full name is Heims Deckel, but he goes by his last name, Deckel. And he opens the door. You see a drow. He emerges from the shadows, and after a brief once over, recognizes you, Chad, even though it's been a few years. He has not aged over the years you've been gone. His face is still chiseled and impassive, as you remember. He has obsidian skin that shines with a blue tint where the light reflects off of the angles and planes. His hair is the white of the absence of color, but thick enough that his skin doesn't show through it from the scalp. It's been cut to stop at the collar and the back, but the front, in front of his ears, it would hang down past his chest towards his hips if he didn't wear it clipped back in a loose ponytail. He holds his hair back with an ornate clip, one of many that you know have been gifted to him by the women of the Blackenthorpe household over the decades that he's been serving there. He's been serving there since your grandparents' generation. He has pristine posture, but he doesn't carry himself stiffly, and his movements are lithe and graceful, allowing him to navigate the older house without hitting any of the squeaky floorboards, as you remember. That is, of course, if he would allow such things to exist. If memory serves you, he runs a very tight, clean, up to snuff household. He smiles politely at you, displaying white teeth that look unnaturally bright in his dark mouth, and says, "Oh, young master, welcome back. We were not expecting you."
Really quick, did he open the door before we got there? Did one of us knock or okay?
He saw you guys approaching and opened the door as you reached the threshold.
Okay, and he can say that, but I did not stop. Like I walked in like I still owned the place. Probably like patted him on the shoulder and I was like, "Deckle, it's been a while." Yeah,
he gives a polite bow as you enter. There is a housemaid that you do not recognize, also waiting for you, holding out a pair of satin slippers. If you each would like to put on the satin slippers.
I cast Prestidigitation on Rhys's feet as we walk in.
Okay.
I will make sure to not do that and just head straight towards the kitchen to get a little bit of, like, maybe an apple or something.
Okay, so you don't take the slippers?
No.
There's a footman who also says, "Can I take your bags? Anything, sir?"
Nope, I'm good, thanks.
Lord?
Do they offer slippers to everyone?
Yeah, so there are 4 housemaids, each with a pair of slippers that they can offer you, and a couple footmen.
I think Rhys is definitely taking
take the
some
slippers.
yeah.
Yes,
Even though he's giant clawed feet.
Yep, and there are a couple footmen saying, "We can take your bags, your weapons, coats, shoes, anything."
Rhys kind of like cradles his maul like it's a baby and like looks scared, like, "Don't take it from me."
They go, no, we would never start. We just offer to clean, tidy things, sharpen things, wash things, dust things. You've been traveling. If you wanted, we could take care of things for you.
Oh, like, okay, it's covered in blood? Yeah.
They go, yeah, okay. Do you also give them your bag with your snake person and couple of goats?
Yeah, sure, but I keep Doug.
Yeah, you can keep Doug, that's fine.
I'm going to, I'll give them my quarterstaff.
Okay.
And say, "Yes, please take care of this."
Yeah, they'll take anything you're wanting to hand over. If you switch out your shoes for a pair of satin slippers, they'll shine them and, get any mud off of them.
I don't even know what kind of shoes I'm wearing.
Yeah, I'm making you make hard character choices tonight.
I thought you were wearing sandals with socks.
That was me
I know.
in corporate hell.
Paelias, do you hand over anything?
I'll hand over all my weapons, but I'm going to keep one of my daggers.
Okay.
Just in case.
Do you hand over your bag and your shoes?
I'll keep my bag, but I'm going to swap the shoes.
Okay. You can do that. Yeah, and then Chad, you said you were heading towards the kitchen to get an apple.
What I feel like if they're all stopping to get, like, to change their shoes, I'll, like, have just, like, walked in, gotten an apple, and I'll be, like, back in the foyer, like, "Come on, guys. Let's go."
Hey, did you get an apple without giving me any food?
They'll bring you some if you want.
There's a decorative fruit platter sitting on one of the side tables in here. As every good Victorian era historian knows, Fruit is, of course, a symbol of a welcoming household. So they have fresh fruit on one of the entry tables at all times. So there would be an apple in there.
Okay, Rhys will take the fruit.
Okay, you can have the fruit bowl. It's a nice, somewhat delicate fruit bowl.
I'll just be like, Deckle, where's my mom?
Because she's up in her day parlor.
All
off
right,
of the
thank you.
breakfast room.
And I'll head up there.
Yeah, so you go up the stairs. You know the top floor, of course, is the attic and where a lot of the servants live. The first floor is a lot of the formal rooms, has the formal parlors, has the ballroom, and has the dining room. You know, there's a basement level that has the kitchens and storage, cellar, where all the wine's stored. The second floor is where you would put a lot of house guests. It also has the portrait gallery and your father's office. The third floor would be where the family resides. So that would be where your mother's room is, where her personal breakfast parlor would be, and where her sitting parlor is, as well as your rooms. The nursery would also be on this floor, but on the opposite end of where your parents' rooms would be.
Yeah.
So you can head to your mother.
Yep, straight there.
So you head in.
Oh, wait, are we all going with him? Because it's like, isn't it weird to meet your mom with your friends or not?
I don't really care. I haven't asked what you guys are doing. I assumed you were following me. If you are, you are. If you're not, you're not.
I assume we're just trailing along like idiots.
Just so you know, the way I'm like trying to play this is like, this is my house. I'm kind of like pretending like I never left, and I'm like back into my old habits of like kind of how I treated them.
Being a dick.
Yep.
I'm slowly trailing behind, just like looking around at all of the things that are in the house, but I am following.
Yeah, as you're looking around, you definitely see some nice molded plasterwork, beautifully carved wooden baseboards, trompe-l'oeil wallpaper, just in general, older but very well cared for furniture. They're not necessarily up and trendy because this is an old, respectable family. So even if stuff doesn't look, like the newest stuff, it's definitely old, well-made, and worth a lot. So you guys follow him up the main staircase and up the secondary staircase. To picture the staircase, you have a freestanding, large, grand staircase going up. And then on the second floor, you have two smaller staircases bracketing the grand staircase. The grand staircase would be freestanding. The secondary staircases would not be. In case there's I don't know why I'm including that detail.
Why do you even know that?
I used to be a tour guide at a Victorian mansion for years.
Okay. That makes more sense now. I was going to say you know a lot about these houses.
Yes. I was a tour guide at a Victorian mansion and have, volunteered at other Victorian mansions as well. The only thing I think I am not doing necessarily to standard in this house is that the nursery wouldn't have been on the same floor. But I mean, there's only so much room in this townhouse.
Yeah, just go crazy with it, Sarah. Put that nursery on the same floor as the portrait gallery or whatever.
No, the portrait gallery is on the second floor. All right, so you guys walk in. Your mother is exactly where Deckle said she would be.
I will say I've been walking through the house with purpose this whole time. I will get to the door and kind of like pause for a second and probably like, I don't know, if my hair's all like disheveled or something like that, I'll try to like, I don't know, like not like primp myself, but take just a hot second to like maybe make my appearance just a little bit better than it normally is.
Do a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
I think that's the best way to interpret this.
Like, and I don't mean like I'm actually like doing anything.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
more like a nervous thing. Like I got to the door and like
Yeah.
I'm almost losing my nerve.
Yeah, so I'm like, persuasion, I think, is the best way to interpret that you're trying to just pull yourself together and present a calm, put together front.
What is a 21?
Yeah, you fall back into your old habits pretty easily. You're good at straightening yourself up a little bit before you have to go talk to your parents after something you've done that maybe you get scolded for, etc.
Okay. So then, like, after that hot second, I'll open the door and walk in. With purpose, with my purpose back.
Yep, sitting in a pale blue chair in front of a small table is Lady Beatrice, your mother. She's thin with tissue paper skin that has rarely seen the sun recently, showing off her veins prominently. Her hair, once fastidiously dyed and styled, is wrapped up in an emerald green turban, but you can see wisps of the hair escaping at the back, and it is now a natural gray color. The turban's held in place by a large onyx pin that matches the rest of her jewelry around her neck, ears, and wrists. The only item not matching is her large canary yellow diamond ring set among an oval of small matched seed pearls. You know the ring, of course. It's the symbol of the Blackenthorpe bride. One day, should you marry, assuming that you've reconciled and retain your inheritance, your bride would get this ring as a status of her place among society. Your mother's wearing a simple, loose gray shift dress with a heavy royal purple velvet robe pooling around her feet and cinched at her waist, hiding her slight frame in the folds of the lush material. Upon seeing you, she lights up somewhat. Her face gets a little bit more animated than the dull visage you saw upon walking in, and she motions for her companion, who was sitting in the corner. She motions for her faintly with a limp hand and a wrist weighted down by the jewelry adorning it. Her companion squeaks, shuffles over, head bowed, removes a small bottle from a drawstring pouch and hands it to your mother. Your mother removes the stopper, presses the bottle to her lips, takes a sip of the liquid inside, grimaces, closes her eyes, and then you notice her whole body relax. She sighs, opens her eyes again, focuses on you, and addresses you for the first time, and says, "Oh, Chadwick, there you are. Your father said you were about somewhere. Come, sit. Did I tell you about the Baroness Haig?" And she pats the settee next to her for you to sit.
So, first, just as so I know, you said Blackenthorpe twice now?
No, so Blackenthorpe is the title. Your family's last name is Darrow, but your parents are the Marquess and Marchioness of Blackenthorpe.
I obviously know that.
Being their title, yeah.
So she asked me if she talked about some whatever person. Nope. Just like you didn't tell me I could come back here. Just like you didn't tell me that you were taking care of my kid. Just like you didn't tell me a whole lot of things.
Well, you have a lot of catching up to do on the rumor mill. Her child is 3 years old last week, but her husband is dead. 4 years. Quite put your little timing issue in perspective, one would say. If she can claim a 12-month pregnancy as the sign of a child blessed by the 12, then surely nobody cares about your scandal anymore. Now that you're back, you can get married, and we can get darling little Liam recognized retroactively, of course, and everything will be fine.
I'm like, I don't really know what to say to that. That's me out of character, FYI.
Yeah. She takes another sip from the little vial that her companion had passed her.
Hello, Mrs. Chadwick.
Oh, where are my manners? Where are my manners, Chadwick? You should introduce me to your friends. Hello, everyone. Can I offer you tea? Can I offer you a beverage or refreshments of some sort? Little darling, hi.
No, I think more what we need are answers. Like,
But
how long has it been okay that I could come back here? And nobody decided to tell me?
Chadwick, I know you've been out of polite society for a little while, but surely you know you should be introducing your little playmates to your mother.
Mom, they're not my playmates. And trust me, it's okay. They're not part of polite society either, so they wouldn't even know the difference. I need answers.
I'm just gonna kind of stare blankly at this all this going back and forth.
Yeah, just ping-ponging your head back and forth.
Because honestly, I don't know what has you so out of sorts.
How about the fact that you kicked me out of the city. I was not supposed to come back. You sent me off to the Cleric.
That was your father, dear. You know how his temper is.
Right, and supposedly you guys, quote, tried to find me, except you didn't really do a good job. Except that all along you really knew where I was, because Udagold knew exactly where to come and find me. So, explain to me how somebody couldn't tell me that I could come back here well before today.
Well, I sent letters to Yenward, darling, but he told us you were just having the time of your life in your new little guild.
And you just trust someone that you've never met? How about hearing from your own son? You didn't care enough about me to hear from me?
Well, I mean, we were busy with other stuff, darling. I mean, you left a child. We had to take care of him.
Oh, that's right. I left a child. You and Dad didn't force me out of the city,
well,
and therefore denying me the ability to see my child. I left him. I forget how that worked. Man.
Chatty, little Chatty, it's all in the past. If you could just put it behind you. We're all here together now, darling. It'll be fine. We just have to find the little angel.
Yeah,
and then you can get married, and then
Well, that's the thing.
Fine.
Are we all here together? Because as far as I know, Liam's not here. Oh, by the way, that's something new I've learned yesterday. My kid's name is Liam. He's a boy. I didn't know that. Thanks for all that information.
Your father said he was taking care of all of that, darling.
Why didn't you follow up with Dad?
You know me. I've never been one for, serious action. That's your father's purview, darling. I'm more of a butterfly. He's more of a wasp.
Well, maybe you need to be a bit more like a wasp every once in a while, Mom.
Yeah, you tell a little Chatty.
She takes another sip out of the bottle, and her eyes are growing less and less focused.
You're a strong woman. I don't know why you always let him lead everything. Are you sick?
Well, the doctor said it was just a little mental malady, and that it'll be fine. It's just the stresses recently, your father's been a little more distant than normal. I don't think he's quite as okay with everything as I am, but I mean, how can you not be okay once you see the little darling with those pinchable cheeks? And, he had hair straight out of the womb. That causes heartburn, That poor girl. Yeah, but motherhood has definitely settled her. And your father even allowed them to stay here. Isn't that just so compromising of him?
Yeah, I guess. No, I wouldn't know any of those things because, I haven't been here.
Well, you're here now. So,
yeah, they're not. The only reason I'm here is because they're not.
Well, I don't know what you expect me to do about it, darling.
Well, I came to you to get some information. I'm sorry you're sick and not feeling well.
Your father may be more helpful. I believe he's in his study. But if you want, you can go get some rest. I'll make sure Cook fixes up your favorite food, and I'm sure your father will be just as happy that you're back, darling.
Can I roll an insight check to make sure that she was telling the truth about her sickness?
Yeah.
You don't want to roll insight to see if your mom's acting weird or...
No. I mean, I feel like I would know. No, I feel like I would know if she was acting weird.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know about her sickness.
Yeah, roll.
Oh, okay.
It's hard, though, because, like, you've never met your mom before, technically.
Right.
So you're like, this is her, I think?
Okay, well, altogether that's an 8, except I don't think that my +7 really helps me out when you roll a 1.
I'm not going to penalize you for the natural one. With that 8, your mother was kind of a strong woman in your memory, but she's also never really faced any hardships in her life. Her life has been very easy. So it's very believable that when faced with some stressors or years of stressors, first, your dad throwing you out and her, just siding with him and then feeling guilty about it a little bit. And then having a child in the house as she's getting a little bit older. And then having that child and the mother abducted. Even for a strong woman, that's probably frayed her nerves enough that you've been around other women that have just anxieties and a very, very common to just lightly medicate away anxieties, stress. It does
like
make
Vaan.
it does make you a little vacant. It does disassociate you a little bit from reality.
Okay. I'll probably give her a kiss on her forehead and tell her I'm happy to see her, and then leave.
You look great, darling. The years have been very kind to you.
I know. And then I'll leave her. And go, I guess, find my dad.
Yep. So, similar to how your mother has her own sitting room and parlor, your dad has his own study, very cliche study with darker colors, heavy woods, bookcases filled with books that he's maybe never read, but that look very impressive. The door to his study is currently closed, which is normally a good sign that he's in there.
Okay. So standing outside again. This time a little bit of a different tactic. Rather than nervousness, I take a deep breath and I try to see if I can hear anyone talking inside.
Roll perception.
14.
You hear the familiar scratching of a pen on paper. You don't hear him really talking. Probably not anybody in the room with him.
Okay.
So Rhys is going to tap Chadwick on the shoulder while he's listening.
I'll turn.
Hey, was that your mom?
Yeah.
She seemed like really nice, but weird.
It's a little weirder since when I was last here.
Is she okay?
I don't know that she's ever really been okay.
Also, where's your fucking baby?
That's what we're trying to find out. I'll turn back to the door. I'm going to do just a real quick prayer to Doll to ask him for some guidance here. I'm doing the right thing and that, he helps me do the right thing in all of this that's upcoming because I feel like this is going to be a showdown with my dad.
Roll religion.
18.
18? You just keep thinking back to that vision you had last night, and you know that you need to keep moving forward, and your dad's the only thing you can think of that that could help you, especially since you did not take your friends up on their assistance.
Right.
So it's either your dad or accept the help of the Round Earth Truthers.
And so I've been doing all of this. I have been trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to play this out. I don't know if I'm going to try to intimidate my dad because I'm mad at him.
You do remember that your dad does carry himself with the weight and authority of the second highest title a lord can have.
No, and I know that. I wouldn't expect me to be for Chad to be successful in his intimidation, but I feel like that would be the possible route he might go.
But just so you have a little bit more to go on than you did with your mother.
I'm gonna not knock. I'm just gonna open the door and walk in.
Hello everyone, this is Jason. I just wanted to take a quick break from the podcast to say, thanks for listening. If you have any questions for the cast or about anything in general, you can find us on Twitter at ruleofcoolcast, or send an email to theruleofcoolpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to be featured on this podcast, you can also contact us on Twitter or by email. Today, we'd like to give a special thanks to Intactus on Twitter. This week, The Rule of Cool is sponsored by Corbin Dallas Taxi Service. Our intro, outro, and interstitial music is the song Orchids by You Bred Raptors. You can find their music wherever fine music is sold, or at their website, youbredraptors.com. And with that, we'll get back to the podcast.
All right, you walk in. Sitting at the desk is your father, Lord Manfrew the Marquess. He has the same coloring that you do, but his hair is sprinkled with salt and pepper. Age hasn't really touched him much since you've last seen him. His face is nicely angled, and while no excess fat hangs on his body, neither does he carry unnecessary muscle. He's built like a man who spares enough time for his health to ensure a long life, but not so much time as to cross into the range of an idle hobby. He has a strong jawline, traced with a disciplined beard, and mustache that is long enough to fully fill the area on his face, but not so long as to capture stray food. His hair is shaved short on the sides and tidily on the top. He carries himself with the importance of his title and the comfort of his age in that title. So it's not a heavy weight that weighs down on his shoulder, but a familiar weight that he has come to internalize as an identity. He's wearing a pinstripe, bespoken suit and satin slippers. That could pass as dress shoes if you weren't looking too closely. He's sitting, not at the desk actually, but in front of a small fireplace, in a chair that is designed for proper posture over relaxed reading, and is scribbling notes into a small ledger. Upon seeing you enter, he, without really missing a beat, turns towards you fully, notices Udagold off to your side, and says, report. Udagold looks between the two of you, and he goes, well, sir, as you can see, I've brought back some help to try to find Liam, and haven't found him yet. But Chatty here was thinking that maybe he could find some clues we hadn't found, because he's got some friends and they know magic, and your father cuts him off and he says, fine. Yes, I see you've returned. Chadwick, we can discuss things at length once you've seen this business through, of course. But we're both aware that your priorities and your responsibilities should be this. Then we can have a lengthy discussion. I'm sure we both have things to say.
That's real cute, Dad, but we're going to have a discussion right now.
As well, boy, I don't have time for idle chatter or for emotional catch-ups. I am attempting to find my grandson for your mother, and if you are going to be useful in that endeavor, I can help assist you in any way you see necessary, but I don't have time for unnecessary distractions at this point.
Okay, I don't think it'll be unnecessary distractions, but we do need to have a little, talk. Because, I do need some information that you might have. I don't know what you know. I don't know a lot of things. You didn't tell me that I could come back here. You didn't tell me that you and Mom that you were taking care of my kid. I didn't know anything about Liam. I didn't know that he was a he. I didn't know his name. You kept all of that from me.
Yes, well...
I need some information, and I need to know what you know.
Well, what we do know is that roughly 7 months ago, when the sky was rended open, a few days after that, the young lady and your son were absconded with from my house. Since then, we have, of course, increased security. But unfortunately, we have exhausted most of our leads. Of course, they left that note that I'm sure Udagold filled you in on. We very early on identified the group as Crim Sorcery, but have no leads as to how to track down that group. I have, of course, posted a bounty, posted a reward for information, and have sent out multiple adventuring parties to follow up on any leads, all of which have turned up with nary a trace. We did get close once, but it seems they were alerted of ahead of time and were able to move. It is my hope, now that you have resurfaced and joined the world, that maybe it's you that they're after, and you can see a resolution here.
Is there a chair? Is there like a chair sitting like kind of opposite him of the fireplace that he's sitting at?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna walk over to there. Before I sit down, I'm gonna pull out my dagger and start like cleaning my nails with it while I'm sitting.
I'm just gonna say to Rhys and Paelias, like, man, is this awkward for you all?
Why?
Good answer.
Can I also roll an insight check to, or I guess, is it the right roll if I want to check to make sure that he is telling, that I think he's telling me everything that he knows?
Insight's good.
Okay. 23?
23. Everything he said has been true. He also may have been downplaying his emotional investment in this. He's trying to put on a very cerebral outer shell, but with a 23, you can see that
he's tearing up.
He actually does seem to care for his grandchild, possibly in spite of himself.
He said, was it Grim or Crim Sorcery?
Crim Sorcery.
CRIM?
Yep.
Okay. And would I know what that is?
If you remember, the note that was left did have CS on it.
So it wasn't Colonel Sanders?
No. Roll a history.
Well, there go all. I just need to go to my room and start tearing down all my leads.
It's not great. Line.
Yeah.
I got a 9.
A 9. You don't know much about Crim Sorcery, but you do remember a recent execution of a member of a group by that name.
Marindethus?
Marindethus, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why I know that.
Because it's an awesome name.
Yes.
You do remember him, the whisperings being that he was a member of Crim Sorcery.
So, I'll probably look at my dad.
Yeah, with that roll, you do see he's clenching his pen a little bit harder. He's got the white knuckles. His posture's a little bit more rigid than a man who is comfortable and handling everything with a disinterested, disengaged manner would.
So I'll look at him and I'll pause for a second, and I can tell that Liam meant more to you than you're telling me. And that's a good thing, because I believe what you're saying. I wish that I had that opportunity to know Liam. And so thanks for taking that away from me. And for keeping me from him for so long. But I'm going to do everything I can to find that kid. Because even though I've never met him, he means so much more to me than I could have ever imagined. He's been this thing that I've not really known about and I haven't let myself think about for so long. Now I know even a little bit about him. So you know that I won't stop till I find him. But you and I have a long talk after that.
He holds eye contact with you for a little bit and just nods once. If you can think of anything, you know money is no object.
Do you think there's anything that could help, that you know, that you could buy for us? I mean, I assume you would have already exhausted those options before you got me, but, you know.
He sighs and he says, I am loath to admit, but I may not have the social or political connections necessary to track down such a group intent on hiding. There are certain entrees money cannot buy.
One more thing, and actually, Udagold, you might know something about this too.
Yeah, anything.
Okay. I don't really know how it happened. I think it came from Doll. I had this vision of some, I guess you'd call it music, but it was this loud thumping sound. Kind of like what we'd hear at the club.
Yeah.
Gold. Big towering, big towers. Towering structures. I don't know where this place is. It's a place, it's important. And it's not human-made structures. Does any of that make any sense?
Yeah. Club music is primarily made by gnomes. But
you like that obvious statement.
I've never been to their capital. A lot of people don't go to where the gnomes live. It's just like a little inconvenient because they're so short. And they don't really court tourism, but could be something to do with the gnomes.
Your father is shaking his head along with it, and he goes, yes, very little that the gnomes do is known outside of their capital. They're, as you all know, the most closed off of the races.
Which one of theirs is that Kearney?
Hyder is their capital. He goes, unless you're going there to compete in one of the slaughters, you're probably not going there. And even those are sent out through a network so that you don't have to be there to watch them. I've never been there, but if Udagold thinks it's got something to do with the gnomes, it's the one lead I was talking about that we got close on was a gnomish family.
What was their name?
Well, we had tracked them down to the Bee Stinger residence, but you don't know who the Bee Stingers are. They're a nobody family. They weren't even in residence. It looked like they hadn't been in their house. Their house is in Hewitt, so not at the capital. But we had heard that maybe there was a crime sorcery hideout there, and we think we found, signs of recent habitation, but we couldn't find out where they had gone from there. But we think they were there at one point in time.
Sorry, I'm looking at my map just to
That's
try
fine.
to find places.
Hewitt is at the very bottom. Hyder is the big island a little bit above it.
Right.
Very close to Armorsmith Landing.
Is it close to Hay, where Rhys used to live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a map in front of me, but I know it's down south.
Hay's one of the islands as well. Hay and Hewitt would be similar types of cities.
Okay.
You probably didn't go to Hyder. They have not built a tall person accessible city as the other races have tried to do.
Jerks.
So their city of the racial capitals, it's the most isolated.
So then, I'll ask my dad, do we have any connections in Hyder? Like anybody I could reach out to there that would help make things easier?
That is where your old mentor is currently residing. He did go back to his ancestral city once you parted ways, apparently.
And he's been lying forever.
Yes, well, be that as it may, he is there, as is his sister, his entire family, of course. His name is Yenward Mongothsbeard. You've also probably met his sister, Fatra.
Okay.
But you would remember she's always been weak of constitution, so she's not really traveled. Her brother was the explorer of the pair.
All right. Well, it looks like I'm just doing the grand tour of people I don't want to talk to. This is awesome.
Other party members, I will remind you that the Gilded Guild is located in this city.
Which one was that again?
Round Earth Truthers told us to go there.
Mary had mentioned that he was a member of a group that you may be trying to find or gain entry into.
So are we still sitting in front of Chadwick's dad?
I'm assuming you guys are all just like hanging out at the door.
Yeah, that's where
just
I would
as
be.
random spectators.
But I mean, like, I wouldn't talk to, or Rhys wouldn't talk about this in front of Chadwick's dad.
Yeah.
Because he promised Mary he wouldn't tell anybody.
You guys are still in the study.
So before we leave the room, I will look at my dad and say, we could probably use some potions of sorts if you can procure them for us.
Yes, of course. I can send out for supplies for your trip. See what the merchants have on hand. We could have stronger whipped up for you, but I'm assuming you want to leave before they would be ready.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get going as soon as possible. Today, if I could do it.
Yeah, it may take a few hours to gather up some supplies for you, as what we had on hand in the house was already distributed to the previous adventurers I had hired. But you know Deckel well enough to know he is able to work some sorts of miracles. I'm sure in a couple of hours he can pull together reasonable supplies for you.
That'd be awesome. One last thing.
Yeah, as you're talking, he gets up, he goes to his desk, he opens an ornate notebook, dips his quill into ink, and starts writing.
Okay.
He gestures for you to continue talking.
This doesn't necessarily have to do with finding Liam, but how's Mom? She doesn't look quite the same.
Yes, well, your mother's doing well, all things considered, but years of people talking, and I'll own to a little bit of discord between the two of us has worn on her nerves somewhat, but the abduction, of course, has frayed her nerves past what they could handle at the time. She'll be fine. She just needs to take a little bit of time for herself, but doesn't want to go out to the country while Liam is missing. So she's coping as best as she can. Hopefully, you're able to resolve the issue and she can truly mend.
Well, maybe when I come back, she won't, need her medicine anymore.
Yes, well, the medicine, while it affects her, does allow her rest, allow her to sleep. You may have noticed she's lost weight. She doesn't get sun. The medicine allows her to take care of herself, where the nervous disposition would be stealing life from her, obviously.
Well, tell her to go out in the back garden, get some sun, get some light. I promise you it's very healing.
Yes, well, she does worry that she too will be abducted. Does not like to leave the floor very often. But thank you for your concern. Hopefully, if this gets resolved, she will be able to rebound with the love of her family.
And I know this last thing I said was the last thing, but this is really the last thing. And I'll get up and I'll be at the door and I'll look him square. I'll just look him just dead in the eyes and be like, "Do you regret it?"
We'll talk after your return.
Yes or no. It's a yes or no question. That's all I want to know.
He's no longer looking at you. He's closed the notebook, and he's gone back to his seat with his ledger.
Great talk, Dad. I'll close the door.
Awkward.
I think at this point I would tell Udagold to stay. I'll be like, "You could stay here. We've got this handled." And then
He clasps you on your shoulder and he goes, I'll see what I can do about your mom.
Yeah. I don't really think that needs to be around Liam, but
she was doing fine. It's just been the past couple of months that well,
No, I know, but she also needs to be present in the moment.
Well, the moment kind of sucks, dude, so
Oh, has it? How long has it sucked for you all? Just for 4 months, 7 months, something? How about years? How about 7 years? I don't know. But it's fine. I'm not here to squabble. Just try to help her. Get her outside. Get her outside, I promise. Or get her in the sun. Yeah. Some vitamin D. Get her in the light. I promise. I promise.
The Cleric of Light says that light is the medicine. Yeah. It's the cure-all.
I promise. It'll help. It'll just clear everything up. And then I'll leave him. But then I'll take the four of them and be like, let's, I guess, head outside and we can talk about some stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I am trying to give all of the new NPCs a little bit more description so that we don't run into a situation like what we have with Tad, where you guys love Tad, and I don't know if we've ever really described Tad.
Well, we also don't have to know what they look like to like their personality, or it's just like, for whatever reason, we did gravitate towards Tad, and we just were like, oh, Remy, because they were just kind of like night and day with each other.
With all of the people I am introducing in this quest, I want to make sure that they're not just new person number one.
Like Leoror Mistletoe.
Yeah, like Leoror Mistletoe. Or the lady who had a lynx. Like, right?
This is just it's going to be easier for you to draw later.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all this is for, is Terrible Art Thursday.
Leoror Mistletoe has absolutely nothing to do with your guys' life. This is Chad's parents and his butler.
And each room in his house.
And outside.